One of the many strengths of HGSI is the ability to scan what we call smart groups. These are groups of stocks that are created each day, and I'm going to primarily look at Woodward and Brown, but these are groups that are created each day from filters and what we call combo rankings. The filters exclude the stocks that we don't want in there, and then the combo ranking brings the best stocks to the top of the list. Now, what I came up with, it's been a couple of years ago now, something called the group inclusion report, and the process actually uses these smart groups, and what we do is we scan for multiple appearances of stocks in the smart groups, and the ones that are at the top of the list are generally very good stocks to consider for your watch list. And let me show you how we do this. First of all, I'm in the designer. I'll close this out and click on the designer, and I'm using these small icons now in HGSI, but I'm going to click on this area right here, the first arrow which points to the right. This is to load the group inclusion report. Now, you can see that I have several groups that I have been saving over the years, primarily the top 50 group inclusion report. This is for 2016, and I'm doing this in March. I'm going to add to this list of groups which I create every market day. So today's date is the 28th. Now I'll show you how this works. What I do is I click on load selection, and this brings up a list of group inclusion reports. The one that I use primarily is number 1, top 50 group inclusion report with groups. So when I load that, what it's doing, it's going in and selecting several of these smart groups, which are contained over here. I cannot open that now, but they're in the green folder, and these are the ones that are selected. I've been using these same groups for quite some time now, but they're selected automatically each day just by loading this selection. You can see how that happens, and it selects 198 groups. Well, those are not all smart groups. Many of these groups belong up here in the industries groups. Now, the reason I started doing this is I wanted to see which stocks were appearing in which industries each day. So if I see a lot of stocks in the same industry, that gives me a really good idea of what's going on. So let's go ahead and do this process. I'll close this one more time. I will go up, once again, click on this. I will just clear everything. It's a good idea to clear everything by clicking on this. So I'll clear, and then I will load, and I will load the top 50 group inclusion report with groups. Now we have other options here. If I want to apply a filter, I can do that to limit the stocks which pass a filter, or I can request that a certain minimum number of groups of securities be in there. For example, I have a 3 in there. If I select that, that means they'll have to be in 3 groups. I generally do not do either one of these, but occasionally I will scan with a filter. Now that's an entirely different subject that I'll get into at some other point. But I do make a group from the report. Now it will remember where the last report went, and you can see that it is in the March folder, and it was on the 24th. Now the last day of data that I have is the 28th, so I'm just changing that to the 28th, and I always copy that date with my Control-C key because I'll use that date in other places. And then the number of securities is always 50. I'll click on OK, and I overwrite an HTML. You initially have to create your own HTML, or give it a name anyway, and I just call it the GIR for Group Inclusion Report. So I'm going to overwrite the one that I currently have, and it's going to generate an HTML report. I generated the group also. Now I'll bring this over from the other window, and you can see that on the 28th, I said that the 28th was the last date, that this stock, Calm, which is a defensive stock in packaged food, appeared in 16 groups. The next one was Headwaters. This is in the non-wood building materials group. Here is one, Kate Spade, in the apparel footwear group. And here's Sonic in the restaurants. Now these are just the first 4 that I'm showing. Now what happens is the top 50 stocks, which appear the most often in these groups, are put in that folder automatically. Now if we have a tie on the number of groups, for example, if I have 51 and anything above 50 is also in 7 groups, then they are now sorted alphabetically, and the stock with the symbol, which sorts highest alphabetically, it will be included in the top 50. This is just a very quick way, and let me show you what happened here when I did this, to generate a list of stocks. And I need to go to a view that I use, and the view that I use, by the way, is under Woodward and Brown, and I'm going to be putting some new views up here so I have multiple copies, but it's always under the number 1 folder, and it's view number 11. The reason I use this view is because it eliminates that group index that I generated, and when I sort on raw combo, it gives me or shows me the groups, the industry groups, that were up the greatest percentage for the day. So you can see that these are 2 related stocks here. Central Garden and Pet were both up 3.47%. Air Transport was in the air freight group, up 2.98%, and down the list. Now we get down here and notice that the industry groups are negative for the day, but yet these stocks in the semiconductor group, if you look over here, that group was down slightly, but still several semiconductor stocks are included in the top 50. So I have a list of stocks which are appearing in multiple smart groups, and this gives me a good list to look at for the day. Now I also have in this number 11 view the last VPA signal condition and the days since the signal was generated, and if I want to look at stocks that generated signals today, I just sort on this down arrow until the zeros come to the top, and these are stocks that are generating signals today. This is a process that I repeat every market day to get a list, and now I have a history of these stocks which have been appearing, and you're going to find that oftentimes these stocks will continually reappear in this group. Why? Because they're passing the smart groups. These are some of the best stocks in the database. So let's take a look here. Here are many familiar names. Here's let me just sort by symbol here, and I thought I saw Netflix. Here's Netflix. Of course, Netflix has been appearing many times in the top 50 group inclusion report, and you can see that yesterday it generated a pocket pivot and a very bullish candle, and also the force index 2-day fired, and the 13-day has been positive. It's been in this congestion area right here, but it's been receiving some no supply signals right here because of light volume and little movement, and then yesterday there was a reversal and it appeared in this group. So if you want a quick list of high quality stocks the group inclusion report is an excellent way to achieve that.